welcome back. I'm chuckling away here. Of course, we're here with the one-day special. It's your final call, your last chance to get hold of this. And Dawn, bless her, we're counting in. She doesn't have put your lippy on. Have you got your lippy on now, girl?
I've got my lippy on now, yes.
Oh,
that's the trouble. We've got the masks on, and you forget to put your lippy on before you come on set.
Oh, well, you're not fully dressed without your lippy, are you?
No, you need your lippy.
Definitely. Now, of course, this is your last show, your last live out with your one-day specials, because you've actually got 3 different options all under the same item number. They've all been very, very busy. I don't know if you've placed your order for yours yet. I placed mine during the 8 o'clock show this morning. I actually went for 2 of the white linen ones because I'm planning for a wedding, not my own wedding. Well, I should be really, but it's my son's wedding that we're planning for. And we've got invitations and things to do, and these are perfect for our plans. Now, you've got 3 different opportunities with these. Now, when I was chatting to Matthew about the type of card that we use, he used to work in my craft shop many, many years ago. I mean, he's rapidly approaching 30 this year, but he remembers linen cardstock being that classy look. Even when, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, he was in the craft shop helping me out, and it's one of those things he remembered.
It's just nice to have a little bit of texture,
yes,
but not too in your face that you can't do those lovely techniques on it. That's the nice thing about it.
That's the thing. And it's difficult for us to actually show that texture when obviously you've got a flat colour, whether it's the black or the white. But here, I think you can see how it's kind of been captured. And it almost looks like you've got a fabric weave within this particular cardstock. Beautiful quality, absolutely incredible. And it really does give it a kind of personality. Now, I promised you options, so I'm going to tell you about the different options that we've got. So you've got your black card, your white card, or a mix of the 2. Now, the mix of the 2 is the one that most of you have been going for, and it's incredibly close to limited stock, and of course this is going to give you variety, and I guess that's the key thing, I suppose, isn't it, Dawn, when you want in your cardstock to have that kind of mixture of your white and black for your mats and layers, and kind of making those elements pop.
It is. I mean, when we put the black and white together, this is it. This is giving you more options, but don't just think black and white.
Okay.
Because straight away, think about all those ink pads you've got in your craft room or your little craft storage. Straight away, you can then turn that white into a coloured and white.
Okay. So that's kind of how it might look to start with. But of course, Dawn's shown us if you want to take away that starkness and you don't want it to be quite as contemporary as this one, then Dawn has actually been using the linen card and she's been applying her inks to it as well. So of course that gives you a foundation, which you could start with. Absolutely beautiful, perfect way for showing off your photos. But maybe drawing out colours from the photos using your ink pads. I think that's a brilliant idea.
But you were talking about weddings, you know, a bit like with the wedding album I did of my parents.
Yes.
Picking out like the bridesmaid's colour or the theme colour, you've got that accent colour, just to add that little bit of something.
I love it.
But you don't have to go and buy all that range of...
Do you want to hold those back up for us? Sorry, Dawn, we didn't quite get to you then, but we've got you there now. So there, so the colour's been applied. Now you've got obviously, and I like this, kind of got a mixture of the white alongside the black, which I think was brilliant.
Yes.
It's got kind of that almost like a primary look to it, quite a bold look.
And I've done this quite heavy and quite thick.
Okay.
Okay. So I've just gone straight on with the ink pad to get that coverage. But the linen card can take it. It hasn't buckled, it hasn't lifted the coating, anything like that at all. But of course, with the board you've got, it's showing it as you can try and see that texture that we can see in the studio, but trying to get over at home
it's not an easy one. But you all know, if you've shopped for Pink Frog before, and I'm sure you will have done, because we get very loads and loads of return kind of orders with regard to Pink Frog. So this is kind of giving you an idea of how you can actually work with your cardstock. Now what you've got is obviously your 12 by 12, but that gives you so much scope with the other shapes in there, with your dies. Actually comes with instructions as well. So if you're wanting to actually create things like these fabulous albums, then you will have the instructions that come alongside with it as well. And you're going to be able to make, well, it depends on how you work with them, because you've got lots of different ways that you can work with them. Depends how frugal you're going to be, how many different elements you're adding in there. But you're looking at potentially about 3 of these, 2 to 3, dependent on how you're working with them. Now obviously Dawn's just shown you how you can change the colour of your card, which you can do, but we have got exactly the same linen card in a multiple colours, so you can go onto the website and find those if you don't want to add the colour of the ink yourself. But of course, let's talk talk about the one-day special, giving you that foundation, giving you that starting point. Whether you're going for your mixed, which many of you have been, or whether, like me, you've gone for your white, because you've kind of got an idea of how that's going to work, or maybe the black as well. I mean, the black is a lovely, strong colour. And I must admit, quite often, when you're buying black cardstock, you're paying more because of the actual kind of dye that is used. It's the same with fabrics and wools and things like that. For some reason, even bed sheets can be more expensive when you're going for the darker tones.
That's it. And as a scrapbooker myself, you know, white and black are your basics that you're going to use over and over again. You know, as scrapbookers, we use those to make our photos pop.
Definitely.
But with our true cardstock from Pink Frog, you know you've got the colour right through to the core, you know it's acid and lignin free, and it's just great quality. It scores beautifully, it's a good weight. I mean, what else can I say? It's just perfect.
It's absolutely perfect for those memory albums, and that's what we want, isn't it? Perfection. Because when you're taking those photos, it'll be that you're actually taking kind of replicas of the original photos, but you still want them to last, don't you? You still want them to look as pristine many, many years down the road, rather than kind of just looking at it and thinking, oh gosh, that looks so tired and tatty now. Now, if you're wanting your one-day specials, now you can go for multiples of these. I went for 2 repeats of the white, but you might want to mix it up. You might want to go for your mixed, and you may have done that when we launched this last night, because I know how busy we were, and you're now coming in thinking, oh, hang on a minute, that price is such a good price, I think I might come back in and get another set. Well, you can do. 016533, if you're wanting to get hold of those, you can do. Now, this cardstock is replicated in lots of other bundles we're going to share with you, so rather than chopping into these, I would suggest that you add in some of the others alongside it, because it's going to marry up perfectly, because it's the same cardstock, but rather than you having to cut it, we've got pre-cuts. Pre-cuts are always so useful, aren't they? Whether it's fabric or whether it's cardstock, it means that somebody else has taken the time and the trouble to do that for you, and you know that you've got the perfect cut with these. Now, we're still looking at your 12 inches with regards to these, or your 30 centimetres, as you can see, should I say, 30 centimetres to work alongside your 12 by 12s of your one-day special. 10.5 centimetres, a very popular cut with regards to these. Now, when they come to you, am I right in thinking that you're going to get the instructions for those frames as well?
You are going to get all those instructions that are on that sheet. We've put this size with the show because this is a great size to use for add-ons to your folios.
Brilliant.
You know, to do that matting and layering, to make extra photo mats, to do your die cuts. You don't want to cut into a big sheet of 12 by 12, do you? No, we're crafters, we're quite frugal.
Exactly. Now, of course, you can use it for your card making if you want to, so they're going to make those kind of A6 cards if you want them to be portrait or landscape, tent fold. You can see that you're going to be able to do that with these. Perfect for die cutting things like sentiments as well, but obviously because of them being that true is the key word with these, isn't it? Making sure that you are using it because it's acid and lignin free, so perfect for your memory albums. Rapidly approaching 80% of the stock of this one has gone. So as Dawn says, you don't want to chop into your larger pieces. Having those pre-cuts mean they are ready to go at the moment you want to use them for all those pockets and that interactive content that we've seen with some of those fabulous albums already. Details on your screen there, 677356 if you're wanting those. Now, if you like your A4, then we can help you with your A4 as well, and that's what we've got in the next bundle. So again, if you're a traditionalist, if you like working with your A4, then this is brilliant. 300 GSM, perfect obviously for your card bases if you're wanting to use it in that way, but of course also a brilliant one if you want to use it for things like your boxes as well. A wonderful weight at 300 GSM, so if you are making albums and you're making apertures, or your cards and you're making apertures, then you don't have to worry. That 300 GSM is really going to be able to cope with that, so it's a brilliant weight to work with. But if you're thinking of getting this one, please be aware that 60% of the stock has gone. This is the one that we showed you with those gorgeous colours being applied, but of course it could be any of the card that we're talking about because it's the linen effect. And the linen effect, when you sweep over with your ink pads, it's really showing that texture. Let me keep that as tight as I can there so our lovely Shay can have a good look at that if she's choosing to get right in there, but you can see there straight away you've got all those gorgeous kind of tones there. It's almost like you've got a paper that's kind of mimicking of fabric. You can see the texture there coming through, and it's not just in one direction, it's crossing over in both directions, so absolutely brilliant, as you can see there. with regards to that, whichever way you're choosing to apply your colour. And as my Matthew said, it's a very classy look. So if you are looking for that classy look, or you're looking for that kind of shabby chic look, I think with those inks on there, it really does capture that, doesn't it? Love that. So there you go. Again, if you're going for your linen cardstock but you want a new A4, then that's a perfect opportunity for you to do so. 73724M3 if you're wanting them. Pop those into your basket. Now, starter kits. Starter kits are always good if you're not too sure where to go and which bits to add in. But this is a brilliant one, but you have to be quick because we're down to pretty much single figures with regards to this one. So with this one, you're going to be able to make your memory folio, and it's a starter kit. So you're going to have your 12 by 12s in there, obviously your largest size. Then you're going to have your other elements in there to allow you to create those pockets. You're also going to get the elements that can help you create things like your spine, and you've got your double-sided tape in there. We've also got your instructions as well, and it tells you how to lay out your card the moment it gets to you, so as you know exactly what you are going to be creating and which bits go where. That's the key thing, but you have to be quick. £19.99 will get you this. Of course, you could be adding this in alongside your one-day special to give you even more scope. And of course, it means you've got your double-sided tape in there ready to go as well. And don't forget that double-sided tape is not your regular size roll. With this one, you've got a good width to it, so it's not your skinny. You can see it's a good width with regards to that one. So it's your 12 mil, a little over a centimetre. You've actually got 30 metres on there. So sometimes when you look at these, you might be expecting 5 metres on there, which is kind of like what we're used to in the past. But this one is almost like you've got 6 of those rolls all combined on one roll there. So brilliant when you're doing things like your albums. 880898, all important item number if you're wanting to get hold of that. Now on the website, you'll find everything that was spoken of. You'll find additional things on there as well, things like your quickie glue pens. Don't forget you can stock up on things like your red liner tape as well, so if you want more of that, you can get hold of it. We've had fellows though, so make sure you get involved as soon as you can with some of those items. The photo glue that I know Paola was very keen on in the last hour, and lots of you place your orders. Interesting scenario she was chatting about. You'll have to go back and watch that on Rewind. But we have still got the masking sheets. We've lost the Mylar, sadly, but we have got a fabulous array of different things, including that fabulous EVA glue, which is brilliant for adhering anything to anything. It's absolutely miraculous. It's brilliant. Then you've got your repositionable tape there as well. If you're wanting to get hold of that, you can add it in. And of course, if you want that little bit of confidence that you are shopping wisely, then you can check out some of those reviews as well. 5-star reviews there. Oh, we haven't got the photo glue. We'll gloss over that one then. But there's loads of other things you could be adding into your basket. Now, of course, we've had Dawn here during the course of the one-day special shows, and I believe you've kind of been building an album from scratch. So if we go back to the Rewind shows, we can kind of follow that journey with you.
You can see that right from the beginning. So shall I just do a quick recap?
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Before we carry on with the last little bit.
Okay.
So we've made our main album itself.
Lovely.
And we'll put the outside and back covers on in a minute.
Okay.
So when we open the folio up, you can see I've just done an array of colours with this one to make it a little bit brighter. I've done the photo mats in a different format. So I've done the waterfall here, but then I've done the 2 going up this way, just for a change.
Yes.
Doesn't always have to be the same.
So is that using the 10.5 by?
I have used the 10.5 by 30 for this.
I can see why you need it.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it just saves me cutting into that 12 by 12, and I can keep that back for extra large photo, you know, pockets and things to go in. Exactly. It does make it really quick. Yes, lovely. Indeed. I've used pearly winks on this side here just to spray.
Nice.
The matte pearly winks are acid and lignin free, so they're absolutely safe for you to be using. So these would be used for your photo mats. You know, you could go straight on with these, and again using that 10.5 by 30, you know, you can start building up where you're going to put your photographs.
Nice,
so, you know, you can make nice little fancy photo mats, use your punches and corner punches, things like that. And then we've got the piece that comes out. I was finishing that off at the last show, just using the little buds. That was from the
stamp set that we've got on the website. Yeah, look pretty.
Yes, they're on the website. And then when we open up, let me put that way, so you can see that.
Lovely.
We've got that lovely big pocket. So by using the 10.5 by 30 for the waterfall, releases me up a couple of sheets of the 12 by 12 that I can make a nice big sort of matte sort of booklet to go in there,
That
which
is
is
clever.
fantastic.
Yes.
And of course, using our masket, your masket makes washi tape, Hayley. So we can use our masket to make washi tape because your masket is acid and lignin free.
Perfect.
So, you know, you can just ink on it, stamp it, tear it as you would normal washi tape. So you can colour that anything, any colour you like really for your projects.
I love it. Now, if you do want your masket sheet, then we have got this as a bundle. I've been busy for this one incidentally as well. So you can use it for masking and kind of protecting areas if you want to. But as Dawn says, why not use it for your washi tape? Why not get 2 sets, to be honest? Because at £9.99 for 10 sheets, it would make sense to do so, wouldn't it? So, of course, you can see we have got it all here ready to go at 976569. It's been very popular indeed. So if you're wanting yours, please be quick. Something else that has been very, very popular is that starter kit as well. So much so that it's technically sold out now. So if you've got it in your basket, please complete your purchase. Take advantage of that one while you can, because if it's a case of it falls back into our stock allocation, it's only fair that I let people know, because there are some people that have missed out on that one. So yeah, I'd say keep a note of the item number. I don't know when we'll see it back though, but by all means you can do. But for today, I think we're going to have to say goodbye to it. 880898 if you need the number. So I love this, and it's this bit that adds to the interest, doesn't it?
This is it. This is where it starts to come to life.
Yeah.
You know, Paola was talking earlier. She said, "Can I do a few elements, then come back another day?" You can quite easily. That is the nice thing about it.
Lovely.
You know, you don't have to rush it. So I'm going to add the side section here. So what I like to do is turn this over, because I've got this flat. So I've got my score line. Now I find personally, when you're going to glue this together, I'm going to use the EVA glue for this.
Okay, lovely.
So
now the EVA glue, obviously we've got that available to you. Do suggest you add in those fine detail bottles as well, because that allows you to get right into your nitty gritty. Oh, don't mention them, Hayley, they're out of stock. Okay, yeah, get your EVA glue.
They're winging their way, so hopefully on our next show we'll have them back in stock.
Well, sometimes it's quite nice to get things over a couple of different shows, to be honest, because you've only got to pay for one, and the next time you've only got to pay for the bottles rather than paying for them together.
It just shows how popular they are. This is the thing, they are very popular.
That's true.
So what I like to do is put the glue on, and then if you lay your card up next to it, and you'll find if you sort of push it towards that score line, you'll get a resist. So you know you're in the right place, because you don't want to be over the score line, otherwise it's not going to score.
Sense.
And also, I've designed this so a beginner right through to a seasoned crafter can make it. I've had some lovely messages from a couple of seasoned crafters that have said it's ignited their interest in memory books again.
Oh, that's lovely.
They've made the one as I have suggested, but then their minds got going.
Oh, we do as crafters, don't we? Yeah.
And they said all of a sudden it's just got them going again, which is what it's about. It's about inspiring you. We do not want to take away your creativity at Pink Frog.
Now, obviously, when we're looking at this on our cameras, this is the nature of TV, sadly, and those dark tones can be a little tricky for us to actually show you all of those different folds. But don't worry, you will actually get your full instructions with this, so you don't have to worry. You can go back and watch on rewind, obviously, and listen to Dawn explaining how it all comes together. But please don't worry, if you can't actually see on your screen where those folds are going, you've got all the instructions. They're going to help you along the way as well. So it's kind of belts and braces, really, I think the phrase is, isn't it?
It is. It's all there. It's all there. And really, if you're not a person that likes reading instructions, I've also done an online workshop over on my website for a small fee. So I'm there with you every step of the way in real time. So I will be crafting, making this along with you from start to finish.
Oh, lovely. We can check that out.
So there we go. So I'm going to score. This is just the last couple of elements, Hayley.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do a score line down here with my scoreboard. I'm not going to read out all the measurements because you've got them all on your
It kind of complicates it when we're chatting about it, doesn't it? So go back and look on the sheet. That's true.
That's it. So, and if I fold this over, and you know what I'm going to say, burnish, burnish, burnish. This is the foundations. This is why I've been making memory books for nearly 10 years now, and the first one is just as good as the one that's just been
What
made.
was the subject of your first ever one that you did?
The first ever one that I did, I can remember making it. I had this idea in my head because I love working with paper and card and what can I make with it to make it look special. And I was doing a little gift wallet. Well, I got carried away and it sort of got extended out. A bit like this, it got extended out and it got extended out and I was so proud of it. So my husband says, well, go and put a video on YouTube. And within 2 minutes, I had a lady from Australia message me saying, can you do a video tutorial?
Oh, wow.
And that was it. That's where my YouTube channel started.
I love it.
So fabulous. I mean, I was so surprised, but it was lovely. It was just really nice.
Oh, bless you.
But you can see you've got no cracking. This is what I like about the cardstock.
Okay.
It's true cardstock. You've got no acid and lignin in it, but it's not it's not affected the quality.
Yes,
the quality is still there. So we're going to stick this last piece down. And then we're going to do a little bit of decorating on these last couple of pieces, Hayley.
Wonderful. Now, I'll just mention, obviously, we've got the details on the screen for all of your different one-day specials. You've got your mixed, where you've got 30 sheets of your black, 30 sheets of your white, or you've got your white, where you've got 60 sheets, and then similarly with the black, you've got 60 sheets. Now, you can see we've got your kind of mixture of GSMs. That's purely the difference between the white and the black. It doesn't mean that if you're going for the white, you will get a mixture of different GSMs in there. They'll all be exactly the same. Similarly with the black as well, but if you are going for the mixed, that's where that kind of combination of the two GSMs come into it.
Yeah, so the white linen that's the 300 GSM.
Okay.
And then your black, true black, is the 280.
There's not a lot in it, to be honest. You wouldn't know, to be fair.
Honestly, you wouldn't. If you felt the two together,
they feel the same,
you would be very pushed to notice. So I've put that on there. Now, don't worry about these seams because this is going to be a flat pocket that's going to go on the top of there. So I'm not going to stick it down yet because we've got to do our inside of our pocket.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold that to one side and we'll decorate these last few pages.
Lovely.
So I'm just going to put my glue on there. I'm using Masket, Hayley.
Okay.
I've used it quite a lot through the album, and so has Heather, that's helped me do the samples, because sometimes people can look at a whole sheet.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a whole sheet of 12 by 12, and it can be quite daunting to think, oh, I've got to ink all that, I've got to stamp all that. It can be quite daunting to a new crafter. But by using your Masket, you're breaking it down.
Right.
We're not wasting ink for a start. So it means I've got spaces to put my photographs. So I'm knowing where I'm going to position these. So if you're giving this as a gift, it's giving the recipient an idea of where they can place their photographs. So for this one here, I'm just going in with our chrysanthemum stamp and I'm just using Distress Oxide here, but you could use any of your Distress inks for this. I've tried to do sort of some different techniques as we've gone along.
I love it. I've just picked up one of the albums that you've got on here. I think this is such a clever idea. Is there actually a stamp that says place photo here that we've got? Or is that one in your stash?
Can I just... That is one of our Lotties.
I think that's a bit, oh, well, of course,
So,
Lottie will probably have made a stamp. I think that was a brilliant idea, but you could put a little sticker or something, couldn't you?
This is one that Heather made for me, and the whole album uses the Pearly Wink sprays.
Beautiful.
So
I mean,
just showing the techniques you can do.
But I just think that's a really clever idea. If you're giving it as a gift or making this to sell, then it kind of explains to people where they can put their photographs and things like that. Talking of which, are we able to take the instructions and actually make up one of these to sell as a blank album? Is that okay?
If you've made it up, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, to photocopy the instructions and pass on.
Oh no, it's no fun in that. It's in the creating, isn't it? That's why we want to get involved.
Right, but yes, no, that is absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so I've just stamped this with the Distress Oxide, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of my water spray.
Oh, okay.
So again, using another technique. We haven't used this technique yet today. So I'll just find the nozzle so I don't spray myself in the eye.
It's never a good thing, is it?
That would just my luck. And I'm just going to give it a little spray.
Okay.
Now, obviously, this isn't super smooth.
Right.
Now, you know super smooth from Pink Frog you can throw all sorts at.
Yes.
But super smooth from Pink Frog isn't acid and lignin free at the moment.
That's true.
So I'm just going to let it work. And the one thing I found, both Heather and I doing the samples for these, we were blown away with what you can put on this linen card. and you will see it's just starting to react, and then you've got to know when to stop.
Okay, don't get too carried away.
So don't get too carried away. So I'm just watching it, and I don't know whether the camera's going to quite pick it up.
We can. It's almost got like a dreamy look of it. We can see it really on the blue that you can see there, those gorgeous flowers there.
Well, what happens is it starts, where the ink is, it starts to slightly raise, like an emboss.
Okay, yes.
Okay, that's the only way I can describe it. I will pick out a finished one in a minute and share with you. I'm just going to lay my kitchen roll on there because I don't want it to go too wet.
Lovely.
But what I will do is if I bring this album in, I think it's in this one. You know, I've tried to do as many, I'd better mop that up, otherwise we'll have a problem. And I'm trying to find out where it was. It's this one here, right.
Okay.
Let's see if I can bring this in. I've done the same technique here, and I don't know whether it can, the camera can quite pick up, but if you look at it in a certain light, it looks like it's, I can see to the naked eye, it's looking like it's slightly raised, like it's been heat embossed.
So it's kind of the combination of the ink alongside the cardstock. There's something that happens to it.
Something that happens when you're adding the water, but it only happens when you've stamped with an ink, if you like. When you put the pearly winks on, that's quite liquid. It hasn't done it.
Yes.
So it's, it's a bit of a...
I like it. And that's something that you'll be able to see when you try that technique. And of course, if you don't want to do it direct to your page, you don't have to. Use some of those little scraps and experiment first. And then obviously when you're happy with the results, you know what you do, and then you can go across to your main pages for those. I like that technique. Thank you, Dawn.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave that for a moment just to dry.
Lovely.
And then we'll move on to this. This is going to be like the inside of my pocket.
Okay.
Okay. So, I think we'll go for a different colour ink, actually.
Oh, okay. You can do whatever you like, Dawn. It's your show. I'm just here to make up the numbers.
The choice. I'm
well, not make up the numbers, they're on the screen, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm going to go in with a bit of lemon. I think it's lemon I've picked.
Okay.
In fact, I think I might have a bigger one of that here. Let me have a just check. I might have a bigger one.
So do you sometimes look at the photographs and draw inspiration from the photographs to pick out the colours? I mean, you were talking about the album, and I'm going to grab hold of it in a little while and we'll have a look at it of your parents. So taking inspiration from maybe if it's a holiday photo and you've got a gorgeous sunset, would you pick out colours from that photo and perhaps build up the page along that theme? Yeah,
I mean, I've been scrapbooking for years, and I always tell my scrapbooking ladies, don't worry, you know, don't overthink the papers that have got to match your photographs, because if they don't, the photographs pop out. If you're with me.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
okay, they don't blend into one.
Yes.
However, with the album I did of my parents,
let me grab hold
I chose one ink pad and I used it all the way through.
Oh, okay, right.
So,
was this a theme for your parents' wedding, or is it just a colour that you liked?
Well, I've recently lost both parents, so I've been left to archive all the family pictures, and this was the overflow from the wedding album. And I found all sorts. But now all those scraps of photographs, memorabilia, everything is now all in that album. So I know it's now all together. So that with their wedding album, everything's together.
Oh, I love it.
haven't got to worry.
Do you know what? One of my favourite elements of this one is here. Because how many photos, and I know we've got them, and we won't be the only family out there that will have pictures of people and we've got no idea who they are.
Yes.
Sometimes on the back it might say the year, or it might mention whose wedding it is, but you don't necessarily know who the people are. And I love that because it's been documented down here for generations to come.
Yeah.
And of course, because of the quality of the cardstock with the acid and lignin free, you can even use the original photos with these as well. But you've got some fabulous names, some wonderful names there.
I know, and I have actually printed that out on my inkjet printer at home with the top loading. So, you know, some do vary. Mine will take up to 300 GSM. But when I've used vellum there to trace around the people. So if you're going to use vellum, do check again that it's acid and lignin free, because not all vellums are, as I found. I had 3 in my craft stash and only one of them was acid and lignin free.
Did you go back and find the church there and take a photograph?
We took my dad, before we lost my dad, we took my dad to London on a trip down memory lane.
Oh.
So we went to the houses both mum and dad were born,
wow.
and we went to every house they lived in, the where they met, the church they got married in, where they had their engagement party. We went to everywhere with him, and it was lovely.
Is that gorgeous? Oh, a lovely thing to do. Oh, that's cute. I like it. Sorry, Dawn.
That's okay. That's okay.
Drifted away for a moment then.
But again, just your black and your white with one ink pad.
That's all you need, yeah.
That's all you need.
Fair point.
All you need.
Fair point.
So talking of that, I've got my bigger one here. So I've got squeezed lemonade, and I'm just going to drag it down my card here. And I'm not concerned that I'm going to soak it, that it's going to be over the top, if you like. Okay. So I'm just going to drag that down a little bit.
Oh, you can really see the texture of that cardstock coming through.
It is. It's just really vibrant, isn't it?
It
it's
is.
really vibrant.
Good shot, Shay. I like that. It's got right in there in the nitty-gritty.
And then we're going to go on and do a bit of stamping with this now.
Right.
So I'm going to bring my stamping platform up, she says.
I love it. Now, sometimes when you've got a texture cardstock, we shy away from stamping because sometimes you can kind of hit the peaks and miss the troughs. But do we have to worry about when we're working with this cardstock? Any tips?
Personally, I did go ahead and I did, when I first got this, I thought, right, the first thing I do is play with the product.
Oh, okay, right.
Purely because I need to know what it can do before I start using it.
So you kind of get to know it.
So I need to know what inks I can use on, how much water I can throw at it. So that's why I always sort of start off with stamping. You know, seeing what stamps work and what stamps don't. So this was just a selection of stamps I had at home. I found with like the Distress ink, I had to sort of do a double stamp.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But it just gives you a little idea. The other thing that absolutely blew me away, and I will share just now.
Oh, what's this?
Alcohol pens.
Oh my goodness.
It honestly blew me away. I did this the last minute. I'd already packed my bags to come, and I thought, I wonder if alcohol inks will work.
Okay.
Oh my word, I was blown away. There's no bleeding.
No, it's incredible.
They blend beautifully. This is why I was quite surprised, because I have worked with linen cardstock in the past and it hasn't, I couldn't have done this, no way.
Yeah.
And just with the watercolour pencils, and then I've blended this through with a paper stump.
Okay.
I haven't added water, I've just used a paper stump, so you can actually see the texture
almost looks like
of
a piece
the linen.
of fabric because of the texture
It does.
there. Yeah.
It does. I would really like that. It's just a different technique. So yes. Let's stamp with it. So I'm going to take this nice big lily stamp. I'm just having to make sure I've got my it in the right place for my pocket, because I'm putting it in my stamping platform. So this time I am going to go on with should we? I'm just wondering, should we use? Yeah, let's.
Are you arguing with yourself, Dawn?
I am arguing with myself because I wanted to sort of keep a bit of a blue. Let's go blue.
Okay.
Let's go blue.
Lovely.
So let's do that. So I'm just going to hold that in place, and I am going to use my Distress oxide again. I was umming and ahhing.
Oh, bless you.
But this is the nice thing about it, and have a play with it. And by having those smaller sheets, that's where it's really good to do it.
This is what I was just about to say. I mean, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a recap in a moment, so I'll explain all the different cuts that we've got. But if you went for something like the A4, you could actually re-stamp if it was the case that you needed to, rather than actually cutting into the cardstock that you've got within your one-day special. So it's definitely useful to add in the A4. Or maybe if you're going for those 10.5-inch pieces, centimetre pieces, you could be using those. But of course, A4 will accommodate for all those different sizes of stamps. So I'd certainly suggest you pop those in. We've got the details on your screen, so if you do want to add them in alongside your one-day special, you can. And as Dawn is showing us here, I mean, it's stamping out to perfection.
That's beautiful. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely gorgeous. Lovely.
Now,
Dawn, I'm just going to very quickly do a recap, if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
And then we can continue, obviously, with the demonstration in a few moments, because this is our last live hour, so it's the last opportunity to see everything that we've got available. And I know how sometimes it works if you've been working and different things going on at the weekend. This might be the first time that you've seen the one-day special, and I don't want anybody missing out on it. I certainly taken advantage of it. So if you're going for your mix, I need to let you know that this option has now become limited in stock. That means you need to be placing your order for it sooner rather than later. The idea of a one-day special is it's a promotional price from 6 p.m. through to the following day at 6 p.m. So if there's any stock of this left, it will go up in price. But at the moment, it's kind of more about the stock than the clock, so to speak. So if you want your mix where you've got your black 30 sheets, your white 30 sheets coming together, that is the one that's proving to be the most vulnerable at the moment. So if you want your 016533, but then you've got your choices. So it might be like me, you came in and you thought, oh, I'm going to get the linen, the white. That's the one that I need. But having watched the demonstrations, you might be thinking to yourself, well, actually, maybe I should have gone for the black as well. Well, you can do. You can come back in and get those, or go for multiples of them when you're placing your order. It doesn't matter which way, just make sure you are getting hold of them before they go up in price. So you've got your mix, if you're wanting that one, limited stock. If you're wanting your white and your black, we're okay with stock with those at the moment. But as I say, it's the price, it's the saving. If you're going for two of these, you're saving a tenner, which, let's face it, is half of the way to one of those bundles. So it's a really good saving. And it's one of those opportunities you can stock up with this one. So whether it's your memory albums, whether it's a case of you using it for your card making, it doesn't matter. But if you are making your memory albums, don't forget you are going to get your instructions in there for you to create two, at least two, but dependent on how you put them together, you might even stretch to three, especially if you're adding in some additional cardstock. So let me tempt you with some of that to make it go a little bit further. So we've been talking about your 10.5 by 30, and this is something that Dawn showed us. If you're doing those interactive elements like your waterfalls, or if you're doing those frames potentially with these ones, because you will get your instructions for your frames as well, or whether you're creating pockets, why would you want to chop into a large 12 by 12 piece when you've already got your pre-cuts there ready to go? It saves you time, makes it so much easier. So what you're actually getting with this one is a mixture of your true black and also your true red. Red? It's not, it's white. I don't know why I said red then, but you can get red linen cardstock if you want. 40 sheets of each of them, giving you 80 of them. My mind, honestly, it goes off. I remember holding up a picture of a giraffe and saying it was an elephant once, and I knew it was a giraffe, but the word elephant came out. I don't know. Anyway, £11.99. You are going to get your instructions for your frames as well. Of course, we regularly see lovely Hazel here showing us how to do those. So it will show you how to do your frames, but it also shows you how to do a mini, A6 isn't too bad a size, to be honest. Memory album. So it might be that you want to make a smaller album at the same time as your larger family album to give as a gift for somebody within the family. 677 356, well over 80% of the stock having gone. Do not miss out of it while you've got the chance to get hold of it. Same goes with your A4 as well. Quite often when we're talking memory albums, we don't naturally think of A4, but it's very useful, especially if you're doing things like your embellishments, as we saw with Dawn. You could stamp up your embellishments on your A4, cut them out, and then, of course, you know, it's the same weight, it's still acid and lignin free. It's that true bright white linen, and of course, it die cuts absolutely beautifully as well. So if you're wanting to get hold of that one, please get hold of it. It's only £11.99. Equally so, it's a nice introduction as well to Pink Frog linen card. So if you're not going for the one-day special, then this, I would certainly give this one a go to use for your card making. 737243. Now, for some reason, I've prompted somebody to think of all the different colours, including red. So if you're wanting to get hold of your cards, see, it's just natural, you see, that as my brain went into that flow. Now, this is a lovely set. If you've got all of those photos from Christmas, of course, Christmas this year was very different to Christmas last year. Well, not this year, it's kind of last year and the year before, because we haven't got to Christmas this year yet, have we? But anyway, if you've got those Christmas photos, naturally, this is a lovely one to go for. 757396 if you're wanting these. Now, blue and white is always a lovely combination, and this is another way you can get hold of these. So again, with these, it might be that you've got blue because you've been off to the sea and you've got gorgeous ocean views, photos, or maybe you just like the blue. Maybe you've got photos of your football team in there. This is the one Janice would go for, isn't it? £26.49. Again, you are getting 60 of those sheets in there, split between your blue and your white there. So again, it's the same quality, the same weight of the ones that we've got within the one-day special. So a perfect accompaniment. That's a good word, isn't it? Accompaniment. Now, what about if you're working with those older photos, those sepia tones? Of course, they've got that gorgeous look against them, haven't they? And you might not necessarily want to go for your true bright white. Well, this is a lovely option because you've got your brown and your ivory in this one. So softer tones to complement those aged photos. £26.49. And again, a brilliant buy at that price, 429219 if you're wanting. Now, of course, it might be a case that you're wanting to create something on a slightly smaller scale. Well, we can help help you with that as well. So if you're wanting to go for your smaller albums, then you can go for these, but equally so, where we were talking about pockets and interactive elements, if you've gone for the brown and the ivory, then I would certainly be adding this in as well. $11.99, 568-157. It's all about choice, and that's something that Pink Frog do so well. So don't forget, when you are checking out your basket for your goodies here, do look at the brand section, because again, keep your eye open for that word true, because true means you can use them in your photo albums without any worry of any kind of deterioration over time. That's another good word. Got some long words coming out today.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I'll probably peak too soon. It'll be down to 2 syllables from now on. What are you up to over there?
Right. I've just been inking the edge of that. All I've been using is from my Precious Poppy stamp, the word Precious Moments. So just over stamping, first and second generation stamping in my stamping platform. So that's given us the inside pocket of our page.
Lovely.
So we can now stick that into our album. So it's getting close to us
finishing.
It?
Yeah.
It's lovely when this, and this is the nice thing about it. You know, it's been designed so a crafter from the beginning right through to a seasoned crafter can enjoy this, because I know you seasoned crafters out there, you're going to think of all little extras that you can add on to it, and you can. Why not? This is what it's all about.
Make it your own.
This is what it's all about. So let's add these little bits, and then we've got one more big page to do. So this is going to go on the back page here, and then this is that flat pocket that we're going to glue on there. So this is why I haven't stuck this down, because I like to put the inside of the page first, the pocket first, because I can't see the point of wasting, if it's pattern paper or cardstock, to put on the inside of your pocket.
Yeah, that's true. You're not going to see it, are you? So,
no, exactly. And of course, when we put those colours against that black, don't they just pop?
They look gorgeous. I love that yellow.
They just absolutely pop. So that is the inside of our page.
Lovely.
So we can stick our pocket down now. So I could stick my pocket down with glue, or we could stick it down with some red liner tape. Should we go red liner tape,
Yeah,
Hayley?
let's go for it, because we've got a fabulous bundle of this.
We have.
Obviously, in the starter kit that we were looking at, you did have a reel in there, but that's gone now. So you've got the opportunity for you to actually get your trio. Now, within the starter kit, you had, I think it was 12mm, wasn't it? It was the widest of the three. So in this set, you're going to get all of them. So you've got your 12mm as your 30 metres, and as I said, you're getting a lot more on these than you may well be used to. In addition to that, you've got your 9mm, which is kind of the next one down from there, and then getting narrower and narrower, you've got your 6mm, and you've also got your 3mm. Something else that I love about these is they come individually packaged. Now, if you've ever bought double-sided tape in the past, whether it's red liner or whatever nature it is, you know that those edges can become incredibly sticky. So I love the fact that you've got little bags for these, so you can pop it back into the bag if you so choose and keep it pristine for the next time you need it. 120 metres in total, and you're only paying £13.99 for all of those. So I think good idea maybe to go for a couple of sets of those if you choose to. But 825810, and of course perfect again for your memory albums. You don't have to worry about the type of adhesive you're using, because this is perfect for your photos as well. It's very grabby as well, isn't it? Because you don't necessarily want things to kind of fall away when you actually stuck them in place.
I mean, with the memory books, with the memory folios, personally, I would always use your EVA glue and your red liner tape. Don't think of a normal double-sided tape. It's not going to be strong enough to do the job that we want it to do. So definitely your red liner tape. Now, when I've put the red liner tape on, I always like to go over the top and burnish. So you'll see where I'm burnishing it, can you see how it's changing colour?
Oh, okay, yes.
Because what that's doing is it's pushing the fibres of the glue into the cardstock.
Okay.
So again, this is going to help with when we get this stuck down.
Because this is something I've done myself. Sometimes you stick it down and you quickly peel the backing off, but it hasn't had a chance to grab hold of the base, has it? Yeah.
Or the fact you can't get the backing off.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So just take your time to do this. It is really worth just doing. I know it may seem tedious, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. Because when you go to peel your backings off, they come off nice and easily.
That's a good tip, actually, yeah.
Yes, it's a lot easier to get them off. You can't be doing with messing with...
You can damage it as well, can't you? And damage your nails as well.
Yes. So we're going to stick our pocket on. So we're going to go over this area And then, so just making sure I've got that
So again,
square.
be mindful of where the fold is.
Yes, because we don't want that to be in the way there. That's in place. And I always like to still go over the top just to make sure I've got, you know, a good, I know I keep saying good burnish, but you do need to give it a good burnish, definitely. So I'm happy with that. So that's now our nice big pocket.
Lovely.
To put that memorabilia in. So we've already decorated our page. Here we go. I thought I had. This was the one we did with the wet technique. Now, with your masks, from your mask kit, don't just think you've got to use them once and throw them away. You can use these again and again and again, and you'll see I have, with different colours. But this has still got life in it. So don't think you can't use it. So if you pop it back on your carrier sheet, get it the right way around, all, that will be ready for me to use
clever,
for my next
yes.
one. So don't just think, oh, I've used it, I've got to get rid of it. No, you haven't. Okay. So, and take that big one off. And you see I've got the space there, and I can put about the photograph, where to lay your photograph. This is what it's all about. So let's move those just out the way. So this can now be stuck down.
And I love that. Charlotte's just made a suggestion, which especially if you've got something like a wedding, it could be that you've got the script of perhaps a hymn that was sung at the wedding, or a passage that was read. There's all sorts of different things. Or it could be the list of the menu items that were there, or anything really, isn't it? To add to the feeling of the album and bringing the photos to life,
that's
really.
it, exactly. You know, it's you know, a bit like if you go on cruises, you know, like you always get that cruise news put under your door every day. And they're quite big, aren't they? They're not small by any stretch of the imagination, you know, so they are quite large. But again, they're great, these big pockets, to be used for all sorts of things.
And I'm terrible, whenever we go off to anywhere, I'm the one that's picking up like the little wrappers that have been on the chocolates that have got kind of the details of the date and things. Not just random chocolates. They've usually got some information on. There's a reason for me to keep them. I don't just go out. I'm not a womble. I don't go out picking up all the people's rubbish. But it is a case of it's like the tickets, isn't it? And the different things.
It's the memories.
Keep them. Yeah,
you're keeping the memories, aren't you? It's all part of
the... They're getting the wrong impression of me in the gallery. They really are.
No, but this is what memorabilia is.
It is, yeah.
This is what memorabilia is. It isn't just the birth certificates and the death certificates. It's all the other things that we collect and that bring back memories to us.
They do, indeed.
You know, like I've still got a painting that when I'm going through my mum and dad's bits that I found, my mum had kept it. I did it when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
A firework night. So you can imagine what it looked like.
Oh, bless.
But she kept it. So, of course, I've kept it.
Yes.
You know, my husband thinks I'm absolutely potty, but I do.
My mum was like that
with
greeting cards. I mean, we've got loads of greeting cards from kind of like significant birthdays and like when we were born.
Yes.
And it's lovely because you look through and many of the cards are from family members who are no longer with us, but they're handwritten cards. So it's kind of that connection again, isn't it? Because you know that they held a pen, they held that card, and they added their details to it. And it's like that connection again over and over.
I found my mum's first birthday cards.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
And of course they're the old-fashioned postcards where they're written on the back.
Yeah.
Well, I've put all those in one of our memory albums.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, the memory books. I've put them in there.
I love it.
Because then they're all preserved. I know exactly they're in the right place.
Have you got nieces and nephews and people, kind of the younger generations that are kind of really getting to know, because they'd love to know about their past, don't they,
kids? This is it.
Yeah.
I mean, recently I had my sister and brother-in-law come up to stay. My sister, I've done obviously the wedding album and things, but I've also done a different style album from my mum from 0 to 17.
Okay.
That's when she met my dad.
Aww.
And sort of I've tried to put it in timeline and document everything. And I shared that with her when she came up. So I'm doing everything all together.
Lovely.
And I've got a nice sort of MDF box that it all fits inside. Yeah. So again, it can be passed around the family. So, you know, if my sister says, oh, can I borrow it for the weekend to show the boys, you know, she can.
And this is the thing as well. I remember many, many years ago when I had my shop, one of the things that we used to do was as a first ever album, because it can be a little bit daunting when you're working with family photos and you might, because they're so precious, do an About Me album. And that's nice to pass on, because it can be things like about me, where I grew up, the music that I used to listen to, the different things like that sometimes you don't have in the conversation, do you? And I was thinking this about, sadly, I lost a cousin a little while ago, and I knew that she'd been in entertainment and she was a singer, but I didn't know that she'd worked with some of the big names in the 60s and 70s, because we'd never actually had that conversation. And sadly, I only learnt it when we were at the funeral, and I thought, oh gosh, I wish I'd had that conversation with her and learnt about that and spoke about those kind of memories and been able to take those forward. So yeah, take the opportunity while you can.
Exactly, definitely. And, you know, I've said after we did the trip with my dad, trip down memory lane, I want to do my own. Which
made me think about my mum. Bless her, she's 91. She's going to be like, oh my goodness, where are you taking me? But it's something that I would love to be able to take.
We said
go and get the photos and bring them back and show
we said to my dad, write everything down.
Yeah.
You know, write all the addresses, write everything down, and we did a trail around London. We spent a bank holiday weekend, and it was absolutely fabulous.
Oh,
so
lovely.
I'm using Masket again here, Hayley.
Okay.
Now this time I've actually die cut it. So don't think with your Masket that you can't die cut it, because you can.
Okay.
So I've just die cutted just some hearts.
Lovely.
So it die cuts absolutely fine as well. So don't think you've got to cut it out and you're trimming, you know, and do straight lines, because you can do all those shapes as well. That is the nice thing about it.
Lovely.
So I'm just going to ink through some of those, and this is the last page to go in our album. And then I've just got the cover to do. But you're so right, with having that extra A4 and the 10.5 by 30, that's what I've used. I'm going to tip out a box in a minute and you're all going to laugh at me.
I doubt that very much.
Well,
we would never laugh at you,
this is where we get prepared for these shows.
Okay, all right.
We do get prepared for these shows. You know, this is where you can use those small elements. Let me make a space.
Yeah.
Can you see now?
Yes, I can see what you did. Yeah.
Stamping. I've got butterflies.
Why would you want to use a 12 by 12? Yes, exactly.
I've got leaves. Yeah. You know, and this is where you're right. You don't want to use that 12 by 12, but this is where you can make all your embellishments to go on here. And I know that every single one of those is going to be acid and lignin free, so I haven't got to have a worry about it at all.
Makes sense.
So,
incidentally, if you are looking at those pre-cuts, the 10.5 by your 30s on your screen there, it's your mixture of your white alongside your black, and it is now limited in stock. So you're going to get 40 sheets of each of those as well. So yeah, both of these, perfect for you to add in. Make sure you're getting hold of them while you can, though. We're rapidly coming to the end of the hour. I need to give you a little bit of a time check. Got about 6 minutes or so left.
I'm just going to stick this page on here, and that is our album complete, apart from the front page.
Isn't that lovely? So it's just ready for you to fill in.
So this is all just ready to have the photographs filled in. I'll add some of my extra flowers and embellishments, you know, but I like to do that last.
Okay.
So I like to get all the pages in and everything flat, you know,
and
so I
no
can
rush, is there? Just
so you can give it a burnish, you know. This is what you need to do. You need to have it laying flat so you can get it all down correctly. So just get that in the right position. Move that out the way, that might help, Dawn.
But doesn't it look good against that black backdrop there?
I think the black really makes it pop, doesn't it? It really brings it to life and makes it pop. So there we go. I've started on the back cover.
Okay.
So while you know, I'll just fill in the front, shall I, just to finish off the show?
Let's do that. Do that. Obviously, we're going to keep the details up on the screen with regards to your one-day special, but this is kind of your last opportunity to see it live. Don't forget, the black and white mix has been one of the most popular. That is the one that is most vulnerable. It's very limited in stock now. We've still got reasonable stocks of the white and the black, so of course you could go for your mix by going for 2 of those, and that will actually mean that you're getting a lot of those sheets, so you'd end up with 60 of the black, 60 of the white, rather than just 30 of each, which you will get from that one-day special that we've been chatting with your mixed option. Don't forget, the price will go up, but it's not just about the price. When it's a deal like this and so many are taking advantage of them, it could be a case of the stock goes first. And don't forget, you will get the instructions for you to actually create at least 2 of those albums, but depending on how you work with them, and if you do add in some of those pre-cuts, you will find that potentially you could get 3 of those. So do make sure you're adding in those pre-cuts, but be quick, because at £11.99 they are flying out. So the bottom of your screen there, add that one alongside your one-day special, and make sure that you are getting those and checking your baskets out. Oh, Dawn, this looks lovely.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I won't glue this down because I know we're pushed for time. So we've done this all earlier in the show. So if you haven't seen the shows, go back and watch on Rewind, because you can. That's the nice thing
it is. You've got up to 60 days, so it's a long time to go back and watch.
I find that facility really useful personally.
It is, yeah.
And I'm just going to do a nice little collection of flowers down here.
Lovely.
And perhaps have a little butterfly on there and some extra leaves, and that will be the front cover of my album.
Clever how you do that kind of cutaway as well, because I'd automatically think about taking a disc of the black card and sticking it on top, but you're wasting your black card and you're wasting your white card, aren't you, doing that?
You are.
Yeah.
I mean, the back layer, if I just pick this up really carefully, can you see what I've done? Again, using those 10.5 by 30s.
Oh, right.
I've just cut strips, mitered the corners,
Clever.
and just run the ink pad round. So
you
it
haven't
looks
even
like
used a full
coloured
sheet
card.
there?
I haven't used a full sheet. So that going on top of there. So I've got that frame that looks like it's matted and layered, but I've been very frugal.
That is clever. That is very clever. Don't forget to check out Dawn's YouTube channel as well, because that's where you'll pick up all these hints and tips along the way. Yeah, definitely check that out as well. And maybe if you're going for your one-day special and you are frugal, taking those tips from Dawn, you could potentially make 3 of these fabulous albums. They're big albums. I mean, you're looking at 12 by 12s. And of course, these ones are waiting to have the colour added to them, adding those photos. But of course, the thing is, you can make them in loads of different ways, Dawn, can't you?
Oh, you can.
This is the thing.
You can. This is the thing. It's a bit like with the wedding one where I put the telegrams in. So I took the waterfall out and put the telegrams as waterfalls.
We didn't have a closer look, did we?
So this is where you can add, you know, seasoned crafters out there, you're going to use your imagination and start adding your own little embellishments and little extra pieces to it. That's the nice thing about it. You know, in there I added like an extra little wallet that had the negatives in. So go back and watch the other programmes if you've missed them. And I hope you've really enjoyed the memory folio journey, because I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, look at those happy faces. Absolutely brilliant. And I do love that. And I love the ethos behind this as well, as you mentioned there as well. Whoops-a-daisy, it all dropped that page. It's all right, I didn't realise there was a pocket there. I was just being nosy there. I wanted to see what that was. Willow pattern in her gown. Did they make the local press as well?
Yes, my mum's dress was embroidered with a willow pattern all over.
Oh, beautiful. Yes. Oh, I need to sit down with a cup of tea and go through this. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And there you go. Those are all those fabulous telegrams, which was so much a thing in those days, wasn't it?
They were a really big thing, yes.
Aren't they gorgeous there, Miss Olive Tant? Oh, I love it. Love Ken.
That's my dad.
Oh.
And he sent my mum a telegram every year they were married. For the first 10 years, we found. That's as far as we've got.
And I bet he only stopped because they stopped doing the telegrams, I should imagine.
Probably
That's the
that.
thing,
Yes,
yeah.
by then we'd all come along, so...
I love it. Can I say thank you, Dawn? I mean, you've been
You're
inspirational,
welcome.
not only just bringing the albums, but bringing your memories into the mix as well. It's been absolutely fabulous,
welcome.
so thank you.
Yes.
And I know our viewers have been loving it. And if you've still got the chance, don't forget, we're calling this your final call, your last hour, but you've actually got up until 6 o'clock. This is your last live hour featuring with these. You have got till 6 o'clock, so please, please, please do make sure you're getting hold of those that you're wanting. If you're wanting your 10.5 by 30, those strips that are going to work alongside, you need to be quick with regards to these. These ones are at the bottom of your screen. They are extremely limited in stock, and of course it means you don't have to chop into your one-day special. Talking of your one-day special, you've still got time to get hold of it, but the most vulnerable is your mix of your black and white, which is now limited in stock. But your true white and of course that fabulous black, you can still get hold of those. Maybe get one of each of those. It gives you lots of more options, doesn't it?